All right, we are back with another episode of BILLINICO commentary. We got some news, some interesting things have been transpiring. In the early morning, we have a Blockbuster trade that happened between the Dallas Mavericks and Los Angeles Lakers. Luka Doncic has been traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. So, as you know, we blend various subjects. We talk about business, finance, culture. We also talk about sports. Sports is very relevant in the culture, but basketball has seemed to be declining and, facing criticisms with the product. So it makes you wonder, is this trade being done for, purposes other than a traditional trade, which would be something that's beneficiary to the teams in terms of, the logistics of basketball, or is there something, less transparent? Like, is this being done to improve, ratings? It makes you wonder. Anthony Davis is a defensive player. He has been injury prone. Luca Doncic is an offensive player who also has been, dealt with injuries himself. But when you look at the play in terms of basketball logistics, you know, LeBron and Luca kind of play very similar. So what's the long term play here? Now, are they saying that, you know, we genuinely believe that Luka Doncic and LeBron James will be great partners? Or are they replacing LeBron for the long term? Is this the end of the regime of LeBron James' influence in terms of basketball operations, his dominance as a player, having so much say and control in terms of the operational aspect of playing basketball? We've never seen that. We've never seen a player have so much influence or alleged influence on decisions when it comes to, trades or, you know, play styles. And it's just, we've seen the LeBron James system. Everything revolves around what he prefers, his play style, the staff he wants, the players he wants to play with. Not even Michael Jordan had such preference or such influence. And there's pros and cons to that. You can't take away what LeBron added to the game in terms of giving the players more leverage. The same way Jordan gave the players that came after him more leverage, right? So, there's pros and cons with these things because it's a fine line between having, enough leverage to where the players can control their destiny to where they're having so much leverage to where they're affecting the product because they're just over leveraging themselves and it's taking away from, the quality of the game, the competitive level. You know, players being able to really, bounce all over the place takes away the traditional team um appeal, the loyalty factor, the quality of the when people could just play together, it takes away from the competitiveness to an extent. So these are some things that are very, very, interesting. But let's see, hold on. They're gonna talk about the trade, and I want to pull that up real quick. And we'll talk about a few different things, like the short term versus the long term investments. You know, Dallas's reasoning, maybe they chose to pivot away from Luca because the looming supermax extension, and they could focus on the star that's currently within his contract and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is still a quality player. He's a unicorn. He can do everything on offense, and when he's out there and he's healthy, he's effective on defense. So Anthony Davis is when he's healthy, this is nothing to sneeze at. It's not a fluke. He is a A tier player, first tier, A tier, whatever you want to A grade. He's up. He's first class. Luka Doncic, when he's healthy, offensively unstoppable, defensively liability. But he does make effort, and he is so good at the game of basketball from a mental standpoint. He can make up to an extent on the defensive end because he just knows how to position himself, and he's just going to have the flow of the game to where his team is going to be in such a rhythm. It offsets, his physical defensive liabilities. Now, from LA's viewpoint, like I said, they get a generational talent in Luka Doncic, who can be the face of the franchise post LeBron. And this is interesting because this is our first time even having these discussions and seeing something that might seem like some actual post LeBron, play by an organization. We've always seen LeBron in the power position. When he left Cleveland the first time, he was in the power position. He went to Miami, and he was teaming up with another superstar in Dwayne Wade and another all-star in Chris Bosh. He was in the power position. When he left Miami, went back to Cleveland, he was in another power position because he went back, with 2 rings. He went back to a franchise that was ready for him because he was a champion. So even though they were mad when he left, they wanted him back. They needed him. They may not have adored him, but they knew who he was. And then you have Kyrie, who was already proven to be a threat in the league, who was was Kyrie a first round pick? Like a first pick, I think first or second, right? And Kyrie was basically like a Wade offensively, if not a little more deadly in terms of, you can't lie. Wade, when he was at there, he was comparable to Dwayne Wade in his prime offensively, and he was young. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a smaller version of Wade again. He wasn't him defensively, but offensively he was. And LeBron's going back to that. Then you get Kevin Love, power position. Then from there he goes to LA, which is a superstar market, so it helps him business wise. You got Anthony Davis coming in a few years. You got Jeannie Buss in your back pocket, so he's in a power position again. This right here, he doesn't have any relationship with Luka Doncic in business wise, right? So I'm wondering what's going on here. This seems like a post LeBron decision. Now, if LeBron is aware of this, or if he wasn't aware, it's going to be interesting. We'll see maybe some press conferences and see what he says. But this is a strange trade that's going to be talked about for the past the next couple of days, and the past few hours has been discussed. So let's play some of what they're talking about. Hold on. Pull it up on the screen. All right.
So much. Perk, we're going to have you hang tight. We also want to bring in Brian Windhorst, somebody who's covered LeBron for, at this point, Windy, more than 2 decades. You know this guy well, how he plays the game, how he's excelled and carried teams to championships. You heard the guys talking. To what degree do you agree that this is something of a franchise baton pass, more than a move that can get the Lakers to title contention as a 5 seed this year?
This is not really about the Lakers. It's not really about LeBron. This is about the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic. This move, in the moment here, believe.
So this isn't about the Lakers. This isn't about LeBron. This is about the Dallas Mavericks Mavericks and Luka Doncic. Okay.
Is one of the most stunning trades, one of the biggest and most stunning trades in the history of the league. And
A lot of, building a lot of intrigue. I'm sure if we think about some trades, there's probably been some other trades that were stunning and intriguing, of course, right? Like when I remember in the summer of, was it summer of 2006, 7, whatever, one of those years, right? When Kevin Garnett went from the Timberwolves to the Celtics, and then Ray Allen. That was one of the most. I mean, I guess it wasn't a bizarre trade. It was a powerful trade, but this was so unexpected, and the players that are involved, like a 1-for-1. I don't think we've seen a trade like this in a while. So maybe, yeah, maybe I gotta take that one back.
obviously, because it is involving a legacy franchise and a legacy player like the Lakers and LeBron, we're going to tend to focus on that. But that's not where the fascinating part is here, is my phone has exploded with agents and executives and players and all people with the game. The focus in the league is the Dallas Mavericks' decision to trade Luka Doncic here. This is basically a rebuke of him. This is them saying that they don't think they can win with him. They're worried about the kind of defense he plays. They're worried about the kind of way he keeps them.
He went to the finals last year. That doesn't make any sense. He went to the NBA finals last year. And I think their team could get even better with maybe some better players and like a better offensive big man. They got a lot of big guys down there, but maybe they could get more efficient like that. But the Dallas Mavericks team is underperforming this year. But they need some better players. This appears this might be done for ratings, though.
Himself in condition. They're worried, obviously, about his ability to focus at the big